Hello everyone, this is Dr. Billstrom coming to you from the 27th Annual World Congress, the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. And saw a great lecture yesterday. Dr. David Zaba lectured on breast cancer, stress, circadian rhythms, norepinephrine, and melatonin. And many of you that have seen some of the other videos may remember the steroid hormone production cascade, the very important hormone production cascade that starts with cholesterol. The liver makes cholesterol in order to feed the production. It's a very important cascade of hormone productions. And so the hormones produced with this cascade include cortisol, the stress hormone, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, estrogen, progesterone, pregnenolone, the brain hormone. Now, in the one section of estrogen, you have good estrogens and bad estrogens. Now, the estrogen that is so important in driving the development of breast cancer is 4-hydroxyestradiol. So many of you may know estradiol, but 4-hydroxyestradiol is a metabolite of estradiol. Now, ideally, progesterone, many of you know, helps protect against breast cancer. So progesterone, before it ever gets to the point of the estrogen turning into this really bad estrogen, 4-hydroxyestradiol, progesterone can deactivate the estrogen and turn it into a safe form. Now, there's an enzyme called CYP1B1 that will take estradiol and turn it into the very bad 4-hydroxyestradiol. Now, interestingly enough, it actually takes estrogens to activate this enzyme. Now, in our world, very toxic world, many environmental toxins, and many of these environmental toxins are hormone disruptors, or sometimes called estrogen disruptors, because they act like estrogen in the body, such as plastics, a lot of other toxins. These environmental estrogen disruptors will activate that CYP, the CYP1B1 enzyme that turn estradiol into the very bad 4-hydroxyestradiol. That is such a huge driver of cancer risk, breast cancer risk. Now, ideally, methylation reactions, there's another enzyme, a COMT enzyme, that methylates the 4-hydroxyestradiol and turns it into the inactive, safe 4-methoxyestradiol. Now, the 4-methoxyestradiol cannot attach to estrogen receptors, so that is why it's one of the very safe forms of this estrogen cascade. Now, progesterone also protects the breast tissue because it downregulates the sensitivity of estrogen receptors. So if you have the 4-hydroxyestradiol, you do not want it to be able to attach to the estrogen receptors in the breast. Progesterone downregulates the receptors, just like you see insulin resistance. You may have insulin, it can't be used when you have insulin resistance. Same thing when you downregulate the estrogen receptors with progesterone, you may have the 4-hydroxyestradiol, you can't use it to do bad things. Now also cortisol. Cortisol is in this hormone production cascade, and oftentimes, unfortunately, cortisol gets stuck in the on position, the fight or flight mode, life or death mode, the bear chase me trying to kill me mode. Now, when cortisol goes up, that is not good. But also, cortisol should have a rhythm. It should start highest in the morning and slowly go down as the day goes on. When that rhythm flatlines, it kind of stays about the same all day, including it stays high at night. Think, my cortisol is still high at bedtime, I'm not going to fall asleep well, I'm not going to sleep well, I'm going to wake up multiple times, and then I'm going to wake up with non-restorative sleep, I'm still tired in the morning. This is when the cortisol line flattens. When the cortisol goes up and flattens, or in the worst case scenario, drops all the way down and is flat, but whenever that cortisol rhythm flattens, and many of you who have gone through cortisol saliva test reviews with your doctors know about this, the stress neurotransmitters, norepinephrine and epinephrine go up. Those are super big drivers of breast cancer and all cancers. And melatonin goes down. Once again, melatonin One thing it does is it regulates sleep-wake cycles. So when melatonin goes down, think, I'm not falling asleep well, I'm not staying asleep well, I'm not getting restorative sleep. But also, melatonin levels dropping is a huge driver of all cancers, including breast cancer. So knowing what happens to estrogen is so important. Knowing what happens to cortisol, stress response, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and melatonin, huge drivers of cancer, huge drivers of breast cancer. And as all of you also know, with the immune system disruption, you lose your immune system set point. Not only are you at increased risk of all the autoimmune diseases, but also cancer and breast cancer. So these same hormone disruptions are such huge drivers of autoimmune disease. Thus, one of the reasons why women get 80% of all autoimmune disease. Thank you so much.